So in order for Aristotle to prove that happiness is not just good in itself and presupposed in everything else we pursue, he now wants to prove that it's the highest good, one that is universally good for all humans, and all humans should be pursuing it. So he's now going to seem to change the subject. He's going to talk now not so much about goals that we pursue, but the methods we use or the means that we use to pursue those goals. Now, as humans, we are unique creatures. We don't simply just do things to get goals. We devise rational methods. And in the Greek, the word for this rational method is called techne. You notice how it's very similar to the word technique. We get the word technique directly from the Greek. And it's translated in your versions of the ethics as science. So he's saying, look, if we pursue this question from the aspect of science itself, what more objective way to inquire as to whether this good is objective and whether it's the highest? So from the perspective of the fact that we pursue goals and we teach rational methods for achieving those goals, we can rank sciences. And if we can rank them, then it will follow that the highest science will clue us into what the highest good is. Because as we said, each science isn't just a method, it's a method to achieve some goal. For example, medicine is a science. Its goal is to achieve health. So, since it pursues a goal, nobody pursues anything that doesn't appear to them to be good, then each science not only pursues a goal rationally, it pursues some good. So notice how this is our first piece of evidence. Each science pursues some good. Now, if we can rank these sciences, then it will follow that the highest science pursues the highest good. So we can find out what this highest science is, since every science pursues some good, then since the highest science pursues some good also, it presumably will pursue the highest good. So figure out the highest science, and we figure out the highest good. And since this is going to be a result of a scientific inquiry, then it will follow that this good is objective and universal. So Aristotle is going to claim that political science is the highest science. We're going to talk a little bit more what he means by political science. He doesn't mean the subject you take in school. Then if that is the highest good goal, if that is the highest science, then it will follow that its good is the highest good. And if we can figure out what that is, then we will have achieved our goal. We have not only will have figured out that what is good in itself, but also what is the highest good in itself. So, we need a method for ranking sciences. Aristotle says we do it already. We already know the rank. It just needs to be spelled out. So if you look at the top of the board, you see I use these symbols, but S1 just means some science, S2 some other science. And I'm using the greater than, meaning higher than. So some science, we need a universal ranking method. That's why I'm using these placeholders rather than specific names. So we're going to say some science 1 is higher than some science 2, just in case the lower science serves the needs of the higher science in achieving the higher science's goal. So that's very abstract. So let's again use our example of medicine. We could say that medicine is a higher science than pharmacology, the science of producing drugs. Why? Well, because pharmacology is only pursued because it helps medicine pursue its goal, and that's health. So we know that, therefore, we pursue the science of producing drugs precisely because it is helping medicine achieve its goal of health. Therefore, medicine is the higher science. Medicine rules over the science of pharmacology, dictates what areas of research it should pursue. For example, cholesterol. We know that cholesterol is something that when you have a certain type of HDL, I think it is cholesterol, that too much of that is correlated with heart disease. And what medicine then demands is that we have some drug that will lower cholesterol levels in the blood. And so pharmacology pursues different avenues and finds out that statins help us in lowering our cholesterol. And therefore, you'll notice that medicine sets the requirements for health and therefore sets the demands on pharmacology, and pharmacology therefore pursues and serves the needs of this particular aspect of achieving the goal of medical science. Therefore, medical science is the higher science. So once we have this standard of what it is for one science to be higher than another science, namely that the higher science is the one that rules over or sets the demands for the lower sciences, commands the lower sciences, and sets what they pursue rationally, then we have a means of proving that political science is the highest science. So what does Aristotle mean by political science? What he means by political science is nothing more than the science of ruling the state, of running the state. So a king would be a political scientist for Aristotle, not a professor. A ruler, a president, a legislator, those who are in the art of ruling and have do it well are therefore the political scientists. So this is the science of ruling society, human society. And since all humans are political animals, that is to say every human grows up in some type of social system that has a power structure which may be called political, whether it's a clan or a family or a tribe or a nation, then it follows that political science is the universal science. It rules over all human activity. Now, why do we say it rules over all the sciences? Well, think about medicine. Could medicine be pursued if the government didn't fund it? Could various research programs that demand a lot of money and a lot of different systems and social systems and schools and research systems working together, could they all do that without government support? The answer is no, they couldn't. We see this with stem cell research. Once the United States government determined that embryonic stem cells were not to be, that kind of research was not to be pursued under President Bush, then what happened is that particular avenue of research collapsed in the United States and went to other countries, China, for example. So one way that political science rules is it determines which sciences are to be supported and pursued. But not only that, but it does this through making laws. If, for example, embryonic stem cell research is outlawed, then it can no longer be legally pursued in that society, and it will be squashed out eventually. So political science is the one science that rules and determines what is taught in an educational system in schools, therefore what kind of people will become experts and rise up to then create a base of research and a human resources to do that research, what kind of money will be directed toward which types of research, and which laws allow the full support of the state. So it's obvious then that political science not only rules, but rules over all the sciences. Therefore, political science is the highest science, and the goal it pursues is going to be the goal which is the highest goal for humans. So now the question, the million-dollar question is, what is the goal of political science? Well, the question is, what allows a ruler to stay in power the longest? What allows states to be stable so that the society doesn't change, doesn't collapse? Obviously, the state that runs for the sake of the happiness of its citizens is the state that's pursuing the true goal of political science. People come together into groups because they don't live as good a life alone. They need each other. And when they come together, it is so that the state will protect their security, which then allows them to flourish. So the state exists for the happiness of its citizens. So let's review. Each science is a rational method toward pursuing some good. We can rank the sciences so that we can tell which sciences are higher than the other. The one that serves the needs of the other science and is only pursued to achieve the goal of the other science is the higher science. Therefore, the highest science pursues the highest good. Political science is the highest science. Therefore, it pursues the highest good. Its goal, its good that it pursues is happiness. Therefore, we have proved not only that happiness is good in itself, it's something we want for itself, but it's something that all of us should want for itself, and it's therefore the highest science, the highest good pursued by the highest science.